India's Great Nicobar project represents far more than an infrastructure initiative. The proposed transshipment terminal, dual-use international airport, energy facilities, and planned settlement of nearly 650,000 people signal New Delhi's attempt to reposition itself as a serious maritime power in Indo-Pacific. Located close to the Strait of Malacca, one of the world's most critical trade arteries, the island provides India with a rare opportunity to convert geography into geopolitical leverage. For decades, India remained primarily a continental power focused on Pakistan, China's Himalayan frontier, and internal security challenges. However, the rapid militarization of the Indo-Pacific, China's naval expansion, and increasing global dependence on maritime trade have forced Indian strategies to rethink national security through a naval lens. Great Nicobar fits into this transition. It gives India a forward presence near a maritime corridor through which nearly one-third of the global trade and most of the East Asia's imported energy flows. The project's military value lies less in direct control and more in surveillance, logistics, and signaling. India cannot dominate or blockade the Strait of Malacca simply from Great Nicobar. The strait remains under the jurisdiction of Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, and any attempt to interfere with the international shipping could carry enormous diplomatic and military consequences. Nevertheless, the island allows India to monitor naval movements, expand submarine tracking capabilities, deploy maritime patrol aircraft more efficiently, and improve naval response times in the eastern Indian Ocean. In strategic terms, Great Nicobar offers India's presence leverage rather than outright maritime supremacy. During crisis, the ability to observe and potentially pressure vital shipping routes carries physiological and military significance. The project also strengthens India's interoperability with Western Indo-Pacific strategies, increasingly aimed to balance China's rise. Economically, India hopes the transshipment terminal could reduce dependence on foreign ports such as Singapore and Colombo while integrating India more deeply into regional maritime commerce. If successful, the project could transform the Andaman and Nicobar Islands into a logistics and trade hub linking South Asia with Southeast Asia and Pacific. However, the economic viability of such mega projects remain uncertain, especially given environmental concerns, seismic vulnerability, and the enormous costs of sustaining large-scale settlement in a remote island ecosystem. China is unlikely to publicly overreact because the island is sovereign. Indian territory and Beijing itself has extensively militarized maritime infrastructure across the Indo-Pacific. Yet Chinese strategists will undoubtedly interpret Great Nicobar as a part of a broader attempt to constrain Chinese naval access and monitor energy flows tied to Beijing's long-standing Malacca dilemma. China's likely response will not be rhetorical escalation, but rather deeper naval penetration into the Indian Ocean, expanded ties with Pakistan, Myanmar, and Sri Lanka, and accelerated development of alternative trade and energy corridors. Southeast Asian reactions will be more nuanced. Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore are unlikely to welcome overt militarization near Malacca, particularly if great powers' rivalry intensifies around their trade lifeline. These states traditionally prefer strategic balance and freedom of navigation over bloc politics. While they may quietly welcome India as a counterweight, preventing overwhelming Chinese dominance, they would also resist any perception that Malacca is becoming militarized by external powers competing for influence. Ultimately, Great Nicobar reflects India's search for long-term geopolitical relevance in an increasingly maritime century. The island alone cannot alter the Asia's balance of power, but it symbolizes India's ambition to move from reactive regional actor towards a more assertive Indo-Pacific power.